Guys and dolls, welcome back. Today I have a very fun makeup tutorial for you. I love any time that I get to wear an orange eyeshadow and a purple eyeshadow together. I'm pretty much in heaven anytime that gets to happen. I've got some navy in here, I've got some pink. It's just a really fun makeup tutorial, very smoky, sultry, sexy fall. So today's video is going to be using all one brush line. This is the Royal and Langnickel Master Pro set. This, oh, it's so pretty. I love the blue handles. I have been wanting to check this set out for years. I've seen them a lot of trade shows, and I actually have some Royal and Langnickel brushes, but the majority of the ones that I have are powder brushes from the Revolution line, which are fantastic, and we can maybe talk about those another time. But I've been wanting to kind of research and find a brush kit that is great for both beginners and for pros, because I always am getting questions about what brush kit do I buy, and usually my answer is, girl, just buy your brushes individually, don't try to mess with the set. But I've been trying to find a set that would be actually perfect, that isn't something that's limited edition, only available for a short amount of time. I wanted to find something that I could continue to recommend over time. This set is amazing. So they are, of course, beautiful with the nice bright blue ferrules here. What I really like about this brush set is it does have the full range, and this isn't even all the brushes, but I can only hold so many at a time, and I just kind of wanted to talk to you about a few that I really like. So one thing that I like is that there's multiple different types of shaders. Like, this brush is technically a concealer brush, but I like to use this type of brush for eyeshadow, for like a nice flat, you know, shader brush type situation. There are fluffier shader brushes. There's a few of those in here. There are this little angled guy, and there's also a blender. And then there are a few different types of angled brushes. These are larger angled brushes. They're not super tiny, and they're not so great for eyeliner work, but to be honest, I use liquid liner most of the time anyway, so I don't necessarily need a brush for that. And there is this great little push liner brush, which you could use for liquid liner. I personally like to use this for concealer underneath my eyebrows. There's a nice fan brush for your highlight action. And then we get to some of my absolute faves. So here we have a little spongy smudger brush, which is so good at putting like a little schmutz right here on the inner corner or blending out underneath the eye. This is such a great brush. And not enough companies have these little smudgy smoocher ones. There's this little teeny tiny pencil brush. I think this is technically supposed to be a lip brush, but this one is so fantastic. What is that noise? Do you hear that? I guess it's over now. So this one's technically supposed to be a lip brush. For me, this is absolutely perfect at doing any kind of like teeny tiny little smudgy work. Again, a little difference from this little smudgy one. This one is very stiff, so it's really great at getting precise placement of color, whereas the smudgy one is better at smudging. But this one right here, this one's my favorite. This is the BMP 149, what do they call it? Pencil blender. Now, what I would call this is a very small round crease brush. It is perfect. It just gets right in there. So if you have an eye where you don't have a ton of eye space and you find that most blending brushes do not work for you, you need this brush. It's just too big and going all over the place and making a hot mess of yourself. Or if you feel like maybe you want to tighten up your game and get a perfect little crease blending brush, this is your new bae. So I will have a link in the description bar down below to the Royal and Langnickel site for the set, and as well as I believe this brush is available individually, and we'll also have a link to that coupon code for you guys in the description bar down below. Don't forget about that. That is it. Let's get started with this tutorial. I start by concealing and highlighting under the brow to hide those little interloping baby hairs. The defining brush has a flat edge to get a crisp, precise placement, and the fiber is synthetic, so it won't break down over time by using creams and liquids with it. A large brush works best for blurring out the edge of this concealer. You want it crisp at the brow, but you want it soft on the lid. To prevent creasing today, I'm going to be using my UDPP, that's Urban Decay Primer Potion. All the products that I use today will be listed in the description bar down below. I want a warm base for this look, so I'm taking Bitter and creating a soft crease with the BM149 brush, the pencil blender, what I am obsessed with. Oh my god. This brush is incredible. It does such a great job at creating the type of shape that I like in my crease without going all over the place or being difficult to blend later. In order to get some leverage, I anchor my palm in my chin. Just make sure your hands are clean before you do this, or you might cause yourself to get chin pimples, and then you'll have a pimple beard. To soften the warm brown, I'm using Framed, a warm cream color just a smidge too deep to be a highlight, but really great as a blender. For the highlight today, I'm using my Marc Jacobs palette because, you know, it has like 16 highlights in it or something. So I'm using the pink cream color. This is matte. I'm using it all over the underbrow. Taking underhand from the palette, I begin to fill in my whole lid using a flat synthetic brush and a combination of patting motions at first, and then a rubbing motion to create the greatest amount of shine. Almost like I'm buffing it. It's like wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. It works really well with shiny eyeshadows. You should try it. I packed that on most of the lid, leaving the innermost part bare because I'm going to put something else there later, and then I used a angled blender to meld it into the bitter. 1985 is a bit stiff and dry, so I had to pack it on with a large fluffy shader, and the eye fluff is great for this. It still took some layering, but it blends out as it applies so that the whole thing continues to look soft and not packed on in one spot. I even blended this color a little bit over the other colors on the lid just to keep everything cohesive and soft. Really, the theme of the day is softness. Using Pandemonium and a teeny tiny little brush, I added depth of the outer lid through the crease and then blended again for a smooth transition. Again, it's all blend, 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 blend. A little pink champagne pencil on the inner corner is going to create a great base for the colors we're going to put on next. Taking the smudger brush, I picked up Flame and pressed its glittery glory on top of the champagne pencil. Ooh, so pretty. It was a little bit too orange though, so I picked up Fastball to make it a little bit less orange, and I just barely blend that a little tiny bit into the inner crease just to make sure, again, everything's cohesive, blend, 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 all that junk. And one final pass with the large eye fluff brush and everything's blended. Using a combination of two colors from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, I defined my cheekbones just to add a little color and life to my face. The colors in this palette are a little bit warmer than what I would normally use for contouring, but for this purpose today, to add warmth and a little bit of life to my face, it's perfect, especially after I added such a full coverage foundation. For highlight, I was feeling sparkly, so I used a fan brush to dust on a little bit of Urban Decay Luminous Naked Illuminating Powder just on the tops of my cheekbones to add a little something special. And then just a squeeze some more Fastball on the inner corner. I tried using the Urban Decay Waterline pencil on my lash line, but it was just the wrong color and it was being kind of stubborn. So I instead picked up the Rimmel Ripe Plum Exaggerate liner. It's so smooth and a great warm purple. If you guys are into this sort of like burgundy shades, you will love this eyeliner. For my inner rim, I went ahead and tried the Urban Decay Waterliner in the color Push, which is the purple color. And the jury's still out on this one. I don't know what was really going on. I know my eyes were irritated because I had a lot of fans on. With an angled brush, I blended out the eyeliner on my lower lash line with 1985, which came out much better over the darker base. It's really one of those colors that does fare better when you do have some sort of base under it, not just an eyeshadow primer. For the inner lid, I added a little bit of Harlot, which is a silvery lilac. This sort of just gave it a little bit of a, color shift. You have the darker plums, then you have this lighter color in the inner bit to make my eyes look a little bit whiter. Whenever I'm going to be doing false lashes, I like to do a strip of black liner super close to my natural lashes to help hide the eyelash band. When you have blonde eyelashes like I do, it's a major concern of there being that weird gap there, so I always make sure to do that when I do false lashes. I wish I could be one of those people that could wear no eyeliner with false lashes, but maybe someday. Before I applied the false lashes, I smudged a little bit of ColourPop's Baby Tea. I went ahead and smudged that over the lash line to create a soft haze of navy around my eye. And I elevated it a little bit in the outer corner to give my eye shape a little bit of lift. So I went ahead and finished up off camera just because, oh my god, it was like so sweaty. And it was like stuff you guys have seen me do a million times. Apply some false lashes. Today I'm using the House of Lashes Tigris or Tigris, however you want to say it. And then on my lips today, I used the Kat Von D Berlin Everlasting Liquid Lipstick. This stuff is amazing. I love the color. It's just a nice, gorgeous coral color. And I love the texture of these versus some of the other liquid lipsticks I've tried. I feel like they have more of a dry feeling without feeling dried out. If that makes sense. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, definitely check out the Vice4 palette if you're interested in some sort of like really super bright, fun palette. I think that colorful palette-wise, this is one of the better ones out this season. The Kat Von D one is probably a little bit more versatile because it has like the whole rainbow. But if you're really into those like jewel tones and things like that, the Vice4 is definitely your girl. That is it. I will go ahead and have that coupon code for you guys for Royal and Langnickel in the description bar down below. Don't forget about that. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Remember to be vintage or tacky. Just be your own kind of beautiful. See you, bye.